Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I will not ask you how you are feeling because I perfectly know how you are feeling. You are angry, you are frustrated, you have no idea how to solve that Juventus that we saw yesterday in Marassi, Stadio Luigi Ferraris versus Sampdoria 0-0. You have probably some ideas, but probably they are not realistic. 31st of August is the end of the Mercato. We need to do a lot of things and probably will not have the time or the resources to fix the Juventus that we saw yesterday. And it's even worse because you wake up or you go to sleep and you hear that Milik is the name that is the most linked to Juventus, the most realistic one and closest to Juventus. So you're angry, and I totally understand it. I am angry as well. Today I don't want to go with a lot of edits in that video of Post. Sampdoria 0-0 Juventus. And I would put even a 0-0 for Juventus. Because waking up with Juventus losing points is never great. That you're playing versus a relegation team, mid-table team, first team in Serie A, Champions League, or even friendly. Waking up with Juventus losing points is never a great feeling. It's something that hurts. It's really difficult to do a video, but also going to sleep, waking up, starting again your daily activity with Juventus losing point, it's hard. It's even harder when you see that Sampdoria, that was disgusting under bracket. It was really difficult to play versus them because it's a disgusting team that didn't want to play in that second half. But we know it's not the first time that it's happening in Serie A, but it's even more difficult to smile or to find a reason to smile when you know that that situation of Sampdoria playing disgustingly is because of yourself. Because you are giving away not 10 minutes, not 15 minutes like versus Sassuolo, but even more. 45 minutes you are giving the signs to Sampdoria that you are there without any idea how to play football. That you are totally confused and that the illusion of 3-0 versus Sassuolo was actually an illusion of that great Juventus that was back. I celebrated Sassuolo. Of course, you will always see me and hear me celebrating Juventus winning or scoring goals because this is what I am. I am happy when my team is winning. Beautiful or a dirty win, I don't care. But I also told you, and I brought you back to the earth, that we didn't solve all of our problems, that we had to stay tranquilly, that we had to work even harder, because that 3-0 was probably a bit overrated. And that's what we saw immediately versus Sampdoria yesterday. I will open the front pages. I will not do a big edit video today because I have a lot of things to say. I have a lot of frustration to explain. We have to speak about Mercato. I'll try to find some positives in a day, in a night where a lot of positive things were not there. You know that I try always to be objective and try to find the positives, even if really we have nights with a lot of darkness more than bright spots. But yes, there are no excuses. You saw the live, some of you saw the live. There are no excuses from what we saw yesterday. We are really far from being a team that is able to beat Napoli, Roma, Inter, Milan. We start with the papers that are saying tutto sport, Juve tutto qui. Juventus, is it all you got? And when we saw the Juventus of yesterday without Di Maria, without Bonucci, without Paul Pogba, these players, especially the last two, Di Maria and Pogba, that should have been the instant players to change the face of a team that last year was already committing the same mistakes. They should have been the individualities ready to change Juventus, to give a bit of smile, to give a bit of hope, to give us, again, that positive feeling and vibe to start building back and to give these young players the time to grow and to be the future of Juventus. Today, or yesterday, we saw that without these men, actually, these young players, they were even better than the ones that we had on the field yesterday. You know how much and how many times I said, attenzione, because probably the youngsters are not ready to compete for Serie A. They are not ready to be the starters of that Juventus. Well, probably not to compete in Serie A, but maybe better than the one that we saw yesterday if these players are not waking up. If Allegri is not even helping them, because what we saw yesterday in the first 45 minutes, I still don't understand how we played yesterday. That kind of really strange 4-4-1-1 with a McKennie that was totally lost. Because of him? Probably. Is McKennie able to do the difference in that role? I highly doubt it. But also because of Allegri that decided to put him in that situation. Yesterday, in the afternoon before the game, hours before the game, I said we have two things that will be the key to beat Sampdoria. It will be equally playing on the left and on the right side of the field, offensively, so that we are sure that we are not isolating Vlahovic. Because the danger of that 4-3-3 that I was thinking that we would play is that Kostic and Cuadrado will drop back, forming a 4-5-1 with Vlahovic on top alone for 90 minutes. Yesterday, yes, we used equally both sides, but not in a 4-3-3, but in a 4-4-1-1. That actually made real what I was scared about, that Kostic and Cuadrado were really dropping back. With the only Kostic trying to go up. Cuadrado as a captain yesterday was absolutely not beautiful to see, but these things are individual mistakes. Let's continue with the Corriere dello Sport that said, non è Juve. This is not Juve. You know that I'm 40. I saw a lot of Juve, and I agree with Corriere dello Sport. This is not the Juve that I am expecting. I have a lot of patience. I understand a project that has to be built back. I understand that it's difficult to start again a project without the players that should have been available to change that project. I understand all these kind of things perfectly. But what I saw yesterday is probably the Juve that we have at the moment. There is a lot of work to do. Everything can change, of course, in a season. Working. No blah blah. And we have to go back to at least the idea of Juventus coming back really soon. Gazzetta dello Sport was saying Max a secco, Max empty, Max dry. And it's totally correct, because also they are going with a double page saying Juve c'è poco da stare allegri. Juventus, there is not a lot of being happy about. Using the words Allegri, happy, you know it already. Yesterday we saw that image on social media, today, that became viral. That kind of octagon with 11 players that were around the field without any midfielder available. Yesterday we won for one time the possession, but when we were asking to have a Juventus that is able to win the possession versus relegation team, versus small teams, it's not what we were asking about. We were asking a possession, yes, but not a passive possession. Not the one that we saw yesterday with the ball from Alexandro to Bremer to Rugani, to Danilo, from Danilo to Rugani to Bremer to Alexandro, from Alexandro to Bremer to Rugani, and then Rugani doing the Bonucci with these long balls going over the midfield. Is it because of the defense, or is it because our midfielders was yesterday unexisted? Not being able with Rabiot, with Locatelli, with Weston McKennie to give some availability, to ask for the ball. Yesterday in a lot of situations we saw even our midfielders that were looking where the defenders from Sampdoria were, to be able to hide themselves behind them. Yesterday it was absolutely not working. There were no system, there were no plan, and we showed it in 45 minutes. When did it change? When did it change? When we entered the midfielders that were super young and probably considered not ready. Miretti at the 66th minute entered and showed creativity, positivity, vibes, density, intensity. He showed that he had it. Miretti today, unfortunately, should be a starter. Why am I saying unfortunately? Because normally you don't need a Miretti today if you are Juventus. If you have the midfield that you are dreaming about, you don't need a Miretti today as a starter. But the guy is the future. And we have to accelerate. We have to accelerate his growth. Miretti deserves to play. In the midfield I saw yesterday, Miretti deserves to play. Then if you are telling me Pogba, Paredes and Locatelli, maybe Miretti can be a first sub and have the time to grow. But today, with Pogba injured, with Paredes as a big question mark, Miretti deserves to start. Even Rovella. Look, at the moment Rovella is receiving the trust of Allegri, Miretti even more, Fagioli not. Fagioli should go on loan. And then Zakaria, the beautiful signing of last summer for 5 million euro that should have give also another additional value to our midfield, didn't receive any minute. And yesterday confirmed by Allegri that it was for technical choice. This is really worrying for people that love Zakaria, that believe in Zakaria. If you are giving a chance to Ravella and Miretti, but not for Zakaria, not because he's feeling bad or whatever, no. Because of technical choices, that means that Zakaria is publicly on the market. What about Paredes? Paredes looks closer and closer and closer to Juve, but pay attention because without Wijnaldum, Roma that can do it again, they can go and ask to Paris Saint-Germain to have the same kind of deals of Paredes, so it's not a done deal yet. Will Paredes change that midfield? Well, I'm not a big fan of Paredes, but from what I saw yesterday, I believe we need the player. What about Memphis Depay? What about Milik? Look, we woke up with the news that Milik is even closer and closer to Juventus. Milik will not change you the team. He will give you a rest to Vlahovic. But speaking about Vlahovic, why should he rest if he only touched 3 balls in the first half? Why should he rest if he touched 9 balls in 90 minutes or even more with the additional time? We need to find Vlahovic. We need to feed Vlahovic. Kostic was there for that reason. Di Maria was there for that reason. Pogba was there for that reason. Milik will give you a rest to Vlahovic, but will not change the game. If he's not able to touch any balls, he will not change you the game. So, Juventus, you have a few days, you have probably a few hours to make a decision. A decision that can change that Juventus to go back to win. Nothing is done. Today we are not happy. We are making a video that is quite objective with what we saw based on yesterday. We have Roma without Wijnaldum, without Zaniolo, that will play in our stadium on Sunday. Then we go immediately versus Spezia. We will have game after game after game after game. Every 3 days we will play. We will have no time anymore to go and fix things on the field. But maybe that Juventus, it's better than we are playing every 3 days, because when they have 1 week to prepare a game, we see that it's not working apparently. Guys, I want a maximum of comments, but I want respectful comments. Otherwise, I will not read them, I will not answer them, so respect the constructive feedback in the comment section. Put a maximum of like, I didn't even ask it today. Subscribe to the channel to make that beautiful community even bigger. Thank you, grazie. And as always, and especially now in difficult times, Forza Juve!